Throughout this channel's history, I have made a couple videos about debut albums. And in those videos, I showcase a lot of big ones. You know, we have Led Zeppelin, there's Black Sabbath, there's Boston, there's Guns N' Roses, there's King Crimson, and even the Beatles you can throw in the mix as some of the most important debut albums in music history. Well, in this video, I want to take a moment and talk about, to me, some of the most underrated debut albums in music. These are albums that do a great job of showcasing great potential in a band or artist that I feel don't really get talked about in the conversation around a debut album. So these are just my personal 10. These aren't ranked, by the way. I'm just going to kind of list them as we go. And in the comments below, please let me know other debut albums you feel don't get enough love. And if you like these types of videos, please give it a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell so you don't miss any uploads. And, you know, let's just jump right into it. So the first album I'm going to show is going to be Blue Oyster Cult's debut from 1972, which I feel is a great showcase, a great start to this band, who will go on to have this great career. And again, has all the hallmarks of the bands that become prominent throughout their whole span. Songs like the first song, which I'm not going to say because I'm going to butcher it right now, but that's a great opening song. Then you have I'm on the Lam, but I Ain't No Sheep. Then came The Last Days of May, which is funny because when I recorded this, May already ended, so it's interesting how that played out. Stairway to the Stars is good. Then you have interesting tracks like She's as Beautiful as a Foot, which is shockingly not a bad song. And then you have some more rocking songs like Cities on Flame with Rock and Roll. Just an absolute great album, great start. It's not my favorite Blue Oyster Cult album, and that's something I can say with a lot of these debuts. They aren't my favorite albums from their respective band or artists, but I still think they're very strong and definitely worth mentioning. But now we move on. Next up is one that I love a lot, and I talk about her a lot, and that is going to be Kate Bush. Yep, my beloved Kate Bush. And her first album, The Kick Inside from '78, is pretty much, like I said, kind of like the Blue Oyster Cult. It has all the things that make Kate Bush, and it's all here. You have the very high-pitched sort of singing style, the very theatrical side, very quirky sort of song topics, but it all just works extremely well. And you have songs like Moving, the saxophone song, Strange Phenomenon, which has great production, great kind of lush sort of sound. Then you have the quirky songs like Kite, and then Heavy People. Oh, To Be in Love is a great kind of deeper cut. And then you have the big song, of course, we have Wuthering Heights. And you know, when people think of this album, they usually just think of Wuthering Heights, but I think the rest of the album is worth checking out as well. Some great cuts as well. And don't want to forget The Man with the Child in His Eyes, which is a fantastic ballad. So obviously go ahead and check more of that album out. But make sure you get a copy with the original cover, not this Carly Simon ripoff thing that they made her do. That's just my gripe with that cover. But let's go ahead and move on. We're going to move on to some Cheap Trick, another great kind of power pop rock band. You have songs like Hello Kitties, which is a fun kind of good like upbeat song, good like anthem sort of thing to get you moving. Daddy Should Have Stayed in High School, Cry Cry Oh Candy, Hot Love, He's a Whore, which is pretty that's the title right there. The Ballad of TV Violence. Yeah, another very strong start. Love the guitar work, and then, of course, great vocals from Robin Zanders. Yeah, I dig Cheap Trick quite a bit. This is probably the album I play the most, honestly, if I'm going to be honest with you. And this one I'm going to show the record version of it. We have Phil Collins with Face Value, and you know, this could be one where you can argue is technically not underrated because this sold a lot. But the reason why I'm putting it on here is that if you were to talk to like prog snobs or whatever, or people that only like Phil Collins when he was in Prog Genesis or Brand X, they hear this album and they're like, oh my god, what is Phil doing? Why is he selling out? But again, I think it deserves a lot more praise because it still has a little elements of that sort of experimentation sort of thing. I mean, you have In the Air Tonight, which is the big hit on here, of course. But you have interesting songs like The Roof is Leaking. Then you have some two instrumentals with Droned and Hand in Hand, which I think were pretty cool. But yeah, you know, I get it. There's some more ballady sort of things. You have If Leaving Me Is Easy, This Must Be Love, You Know What I Mean. And then again, you have more of the poppy stuff with I Missed Again and let's see, Thunder and Lightning. And then you have a Beatles cover with Tomorrow Never Knows. And then you have Phil pretty much covering himself with kind of his version of Behind the Lines from Duke from Genesis. So again, if you're not into like poppier stuff, then you know you're probably not going to dig it. But I still think this is still great after all these years. I think even now it's still my favorite Phil Collins solo album. But there you go. I'm including it in here because why not? And now we have a Swedish band in here. And no, it's not ABBA, sadly. It's going to be Europe. Now, Europe, known for one or two big hits in the 80s. Of course, I'm talking about The Final Countdown and Carrie. But people forget that they start out as a pretty heavy rock band. Very heavy, almost heavy metal almost, pretty much. Well, yeah, I guess you can put them in heavy metal. And this is some great stuff. I mean, you have the great guitar work all around, great vocals too from Joey Tempest. Excellent performances all around this thing. In the Future to Come, Farewell, Seven Doors Hotel. You have an instrumental which I could do without, but still an interesting instrumental to say the least. Children of This Time, Words of Wisdom, great closer with Memories. It's a very great, more heavy metal album. If you want to check out more of Europe beyond those two hits, definitely check these out. This one out, and even the next album is worth checking out. Wings of Tomorrow, which is called. All right, let's go for some Heart. Now, Heart is one of those bands I feel I've seen a lot of people in the VC don't really think a lot of Heart because they know Heart for the big hits, and this one definitely has a couple big hits with Magic Man and Crazy on You. But the whole album I think is very nice. Again, it has a very, you know, it has almost a Led Zeppelin-y feel. You have the hard rockers, but you have some more acoustic centric tracks as well. But of course, I gotta mention Ann Wilson's vocals, which is just powerful, but also beautiful as well. She can belt it out, but she can bring it down if she needs to. Excellent album, excellent start. And here's probably the most deep cut, one of the more deeper cuts on this thing, but I really dug it. Like I was shocked how much I liked it when I bought it. And the band is called Jellyfish, and this is their album Belly Button. And I should probably showcase the full artwork right here because it actually folds like that, which is kind of different. But if you don't know Jellyfish, they're kind of a more like power pop sort of band, which was interesting because this came out in 1990, I think. And you know, by this point, this sort of style of music is not really that popular. Hence why they didn't really sell a ton initially. But I think nowadays people kind of go back and kind of recognize it's actually should be more respected basically. And I think it's really good. I think it's some great songwriting on here. You have some more poppier stuff, but still some very intricate sort of stuff as well. My two favorite songs on here is I Want to Stay Home, which is kind of a ballad type of track almost. And then another song that I think is really good is Baby's Coming Back. It's a very strong album. Definitely worth checking out. And here is one that's going to be kind of divisive because it's one of those bands you either love or you really hate. And I'm going to put in Kiss. Yeah, I like Kiss. I think they're a pretty fun band. I know there's people who really can't stand them because they don't like how gimmicky they kind of look. And they think it's just like very corny, very cheesy. But I think it's fun. So sue me, whatever. I don't care. But yeah, I'd say the debut is probably my favorite studio album from them as of now, because you know it's kind of raw sounding. It's not like the best production, but you kind of get a sense of who they were. You have great songs like Strutter, Nothing to Lose, Firehouse, Cold Gin, Deuce, 100,000 Years, and I love the closing song with Black Diamond. Just like great kind of hard rock song. But yeah, I like Kiss. I said that one more. I'll say that one more time. I like Kiss. So there you go. And now, almost done. Just got 2 more to go. How about some Rush? Now, the debut tends to get shit on because, you know, there's no Neil Peart on here. It's not really progressive rock. It's more straightforward, heavy blues rocks or something like that. And, you know, again, it has a very Led Zeppelin feel, which many people also take shots at. But I never minded that, honestly. I still think the playing on here is really good. You can tell they probably had fun recording this. Yeah, lyrically, it's definitely nothing close to Neil Peart whatsoever. But, you know, they were fine for the time. My thing is, I feel like people tend to crap on it because they list, you know, the stuff afterward is ranked so highly that when you come back to this, you kind of like, oh, this is kind of disappointing. But if you were to ignore all that and just focus on this album's strengths, I think they do the strengths very good. I mean, I like Finding in My Way. That's a great opening song. You know, Need Some Love, again, kind of corny lyrics, but, you know, it's still, the playing is still good. I mean, Alex's guitar is just ripping on this. Here Again, pretty good, kind of more somber blues sort of track. In the Mood is a good fun rock song. Before and After is nice. But of course, I mean, even people who aren't a fan of this album can agree that Working Man is still a classic song from them. Again, it has an excellent riff from Alex, and it just rocks out the entire time. But yeah, again, I guess I get why you wouldn't care for this album, but to me, I think it's underrated. And I just have one more to show, and I saved this one for last. And you probably can guess, maybe it was coming, because you kind of see, might see a little box set behind me if you can, not sure, but I gotta go with Queen. Queen's debut, Queen 1, whatever you want to call it. I love this album. One of my favorite Queen albums. And again, it's an album that I feel like it's getting a lot more appreciation as the years have gone by. I've seen a lot more people talk more praise of this, which I'm happy with. But, you know, when people talk about Queen, they usually talk about, you know, Sheer Heart Attack, Night at the Opera, Day of the Races, News of the World, that sort of era. But yeah, Queen 1 definitely is worth checking out because, you know, it's Queen at the rawest. It's not like the most pristine production as they would get to later, but if you want to hear Queen at their more heaviest sounding, like more consistent heaviest, like, you know, they probably have heavier songs, but this one's a lot more consistent with the more heavy nature of it. You know, you have Keep Yourself Alive, but then you have Doing All Right, which has a great kind of dual sort of vibe with a more piano led section to the more heavy sound. Then you have the more experimental stuff with My Fairy King and Great King Rats. But then you have, once again, going back to a more heavy sound with Liar. Songs like Jesus is underrated. Then you have the heavy song Son and Daughter, like almost Black Sabbath level heavy, which I love that track. And yeah, and I love the album cover too. Just side note, I just like the little Freddy figure there. But anyway, gotta get my Queen fix. It's been a while since I've talked about Queen, hasn't it? But that will do it for this video, honestly. So again, let me know your thoughts on these 10 that I showed, and if you have any more underrated debut albums you want to tell me, then who knows, maybe we'll do a part 2 in the future. But until then, I'm Bryer Cisneros. If you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, don't miss uploads, and until then, I'll see you in the next video. Take care and goodbye for now.